in this module, before we can begin creating our virtual machine, we need to actually download the operating system software for the server that we're going to run. So I'll go ahead and close Oracle VirtualBox and bring up my favorite web browser again. From the URL, either using Windows or Macintosh, go to www.ubuntu.com/download/server. And that will take me to the server downloads for the Linux operating system distribution known as Ubuntu Server. As of this recording, the current version is 12.04 LTS. LTS is the long-term support release, which will be supported by the Ubuntu community until 2019. So to begin the download of the Ubuntu Server software, we're going to choose our flavor. In this case, we're going to go with the 32-bit option. This will provide the greatest compatibility with the widest number of hosts, since we don't need to run the virtual machine with a bunch of RAM. Remember, we only need 512 megabytes. This 32-bit version will be more than enough. We'll click the Start Download button and begin the download process. Rather than opening, I'm going to save this file. You'll notice that the size of this file is 673 megabytes. It may take a while for you to download this, depending on the speed of your internet connection. An ISO image is an archive file of a CD or DVD copy of your software. Once it's completed, we'll go ahead and close our browser. And we'll bring up the Oracle VM VirtualBox to configure the Ubuntu server. We're going to click the New option to start the new virtual machine wizard in Oracle VM VirtualBox. We'll choose Next, and we'll give a name for our virtual machine and choose the operating system. So here I'll choose StatusNet. And the operating system will be Linux, and we'll choose the Ubuntu option, not the 64-bit. Go Next. We'll go with the default memory size of 512 megabytes. Now in this Oracle VM VirtualBox, we'll have a virtual hard disk. Rather than using the actual hard drive that your system is running on, we'll actually be writing to a single file that the virtual machine will think is a hard drive. So we'll go ahead and create that now. For file type, we'll choose VDI, or VirtualBox Disk Image. Next, we're going to change this to a fixed size disk for better performance, but it will require that I have 8 gigabytes of free space on my actual hard drive. We'll go with the default 8 gigabyte size, and we'll store the virtual disk in the same location that the virtual machine is in. Once we click Create, that will create our virtual disk. Depending on the speed of your system, it may take a while to create 8 gigabyte file in your operating system. So just be patient till it completes. Now that I've created my virtual disk file, I can continue to create my virtual machine. You'll notice that the name, the operating system, amount of memory, and my virtual disk file, or VDI file, has all been created. I'll hit Create, and now I have my virtual machine. But before I go ahead and start up that virtual machine, let's make a couple of changes to the settings. From the Settings menu, I'm going to choose Storage. You'll see here I have a virtual CD-ROM drive connected to a virtual IDE controller, and I have my virtual hard drive connected to a virtual SATA controller. I'm going to choose my CD-ROM drive. Then I'm going to choose the icon that looks like a disk and tell it that I want to choose a virtual CD disk file. From here, I'm going to look for the ISO image of the Ubuntu server that I downloaded previously. There's my Ubuntu 12.04 server ISO image, and we'll click Open. Lastly, I'm going to enable the Live CD DVD checkbox, which will allow it to boot from that ISO image. Before I leave the settings screen, I'm going to check my network. By default, my network is going to be attached using NAT routing. What this does is it turns my computer into a virtual router, and it passes information from the internet to my virtual machine. My computer then decides whether the information coming to it is meant for the real computer, in this case Windows, or the virtual computer, the Ubuntu server. Optionally, you can also try choosing a bridged adapter. Bridged adapter and choosing a particular network connection in your host computer will allow the virtual machine to behave and act as if it is its own separate computer on your network. Depending on your network configuration, it may be better to stick with NAT for now. We'll click OK. And we're now done configuring the settings for our StatusNet Ubuntu server.